Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another video, and this one is not going to be starting off a new wave of videos because for whatever reason I can't seem to get the entire wave at one time for the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Black Panther Wave 2 M'Baku Build-A-Figure. So here I have the Erik Killmonger figure. I saw this, I don't normally pre-order through Amazon, so I didn't, but at one night I saw that it was available and it said available January 1st, so I went ahead and put in an order, and then the next day I got an email from Amazon saying, hey, by the way, it's actually coming out January 23rd, not the 1st. I'm thinking, okay, whatever, I'll just keep the order in. If it comes early, that'd be awesome. And then last night I got charged for it, and today he arrived, so it kind of worked out a little bit funny. Tomorrow I'll actually be receiving the Vibranium Energy Black Panther, which will then only leave me 3 more figures from this wave. The T'Chaka, the Black Panther unmasked one from Civil War, and then the Ulysses Claw figure. So hopefully I get those soon and I can finish this wave. But here we have the Erik Killmonger, and this is the one I was most excited for, whereas I think most of you guys are probably going to be in that same boat. This is the figure that you guys want from the wave. This is the figure that we should have gotten in wave 1. I still like that first one. In fact, it is a great figure, and at the start of the year, it could have been easily in the running for a top figure because the paint apps on it was amazing. You could see like the army fatigue into the paint. It was awesome. But anyway, let's get right to this figure. See, we have here the Black Panther movie logo down in front. Erik Killmonger. Build-A-Figure M'Baku up in the corner. We have a Panther logo up top there. Side artwork looking pretty awesome. And then like with this wave and then the Captain Marvel wave with these movie figures, we're actually getting movie concept art on the back of the package as opposed to actual promo art, promo images of the figures themselves. So here you could see that the artwork from like the movie, especially with the Dora Milaje, you can see that it's concept art. It's not actual images of the actual actor. Although the claw one, that really does look like man, how did his name just slip my mind? I can't think of his name right now. It's a famous actor and I can't, man. That's going to drive me crazy. But anyway, look at the figure there. Looking pretty awesome. Let's check out that bio. And before I read the bio, Andy Serkis. I don't know how I completely forgot that. But here, the bio for the Erik Killmonger figure reads, seeking vengeance for his father's exile from Wakanda, Erik Killmonger returns to challenge T'Challa for the right to the Wakandan throne. Very interesting. And then here is the UPC for the figure in case you guys need it. And there is the Killmonger figure. Let's open this up and take a closer look. Okay, and here is the Erik Killmonger figure out of the package, and I must say, this is an awesome figure. I am extremely happy to have this version of Killmonger. Here you can see the 2 previous Erik Killmonger figures that we did get. This right here in the Black Panther Wave 1, it was an absolutely fantastic figure, articulation-wise, but more so just the detail in the paint. It's just awesome figure. This one was great too because we first got the Michael B. Jordan unmasked head, and it does look really good. And they actually updated the figure from that one, so we got new paint detail on it. The sculpt is the same, but we got an added texture throughout the figure, so really cool. I do like that one more, but that one definitely is a solid figure that came in the 2-pack Target exclusive with the Everett Ross figure, which is now on clearance at every Target. Some stores $27.98. I think majority of the stores are $19.98. Solid 2-pack if you for only $20 if you can find it, and probably will go lower because everybody hates movie figures. The 2-packs at least anyway. The 2-packs always seem to go on clearance. You can always get a good deal, and then once they're gone, the prices go right back up, and it's like, why didn't you get it when you had the chance? But that's how it works collecting, right? So an awesome figure. So lots of new sculpt work on this figure, and I think there's some reused parts actually. So I'm gonna actually have to take another look before we go to the close-ups to kind of compare it with some other figures that might use it. And I'm thinking the Netflix Daredevil figure probably uses those same legs, as well as the Mandarin Trevor Slattery figure I think uses those legs as well. I will double check that before we do the close-ups. But here, let's go over the articulation first and knock that out of the way. So get these guns. He does have 2 trigger fingers, so you'll be able to get the guns in there, but they're very pliable and rubbery. They're very thin, and I think this is the same gun that we actually got with Punisher as well. I'll double check that. We get a black handgun that's very thin and pliable too, so I don't know if it's just my figure or what's going on with it. Then we also get the M'Baku Build-A-Figure head as well as his staff, and right away, right off the bat, I am very disappointed in this thing because there's no textured detail to it whatsoever. It's just done in a glossy brown plastic. So this thing actually looks really bad for a Build-A-Figure accessory. At least we got it versus nothing, but it's little to no effort in this thing at all. So that's unfortunate. But the M'Baku Build-A-Figure head looks pretty good. But let's go over the articulation of this guy. Let's get that mask off. So we have the same exact head from that previous 2-pack figure. So his head can look down with the neck looking bad. So you just kind of on how you position that neck. He can look all the way up, so that is awesome. You get full swivel on the head as well. Shoulders go up that high, which is actually pretty good because the way this chest armor sticks out, I thought it was going to hinder it a little bit, but it actually does not. So there's enough room in there to get that shoulder all the way up. You can get a full rotation. You have an upper bicep swivel there. You get a double jointed elbow, which gives you a solid, realistic looking bend to the elbow. That's really good. Wrist swivel, and there is a hinge, but be careful because mine doesn't want to hinge. This one I got to go a little bit, but it feels a little thin and gummy, so definitely be careful. And this could just be mine where I'm seeing some QC issues into it, but double check your guys' figures. He has an ab crunch, so he only crunches down that much, not a whole lot. It crunches back a little bit. There is a waist swivel, and you have this floating belt here. Be very careful because this can come off. And I have a difficult time getting it to stay on, and we'll show you in the close-up some of the cool things about it, and then some of the things that are kind of a little weak with it. The legs go out that far, so great articulation in the hips there. You get an upper thigh cut, double jointed knee, and yes, I remember the Punisher figure having these ugly knees. I mean, look at that. Oh man, huge hinges there. So yeah, this is definitely the Netflix Punisher legs there. There is no boot swivel. You get ankle pivot, hinges all the way down and hinges up pretty good, actually, a little bit there. As you can see, my belt already came off, so that's kind of driving me crazy. But when you take it off, you see that, you know, this bulletproof vest that he's wearing doesn't go all the way down, so you actually still get his shirt sculpted in there and painted on there, so that is pretty good. There is the articulation. Now let's take a close-up look at the figure. Whoops. There he is. Now let's get in close. Okay, so here's a close-up look at the Erik Killmonger, the Michael B. Jordan head sculpt, and you can see here it is the same exact head sculpt as the 2-pack version. There is no difference to it whatsoever. It is the same thing. So just like that previous one, this one, I think it is a very good likeness to Michael B. Jordan. I really like the way it looks and how it came out. Digital face print looks nice and clean on it as well. Now looking at the rest of the figure, there's some awesome detail in both the sculpt and the paint apps of this figure. So you have this vest that he's wearing. You actually get some green in there on the shoulders. You can see it there. You get this nice wash of this bronze metal look throughout the chest here. I really like the way that's applied and how it comes off looking. We also get that in these shoulder pieces here. And there's some goldish yellow right there on the shoulders as well. And we got paint on the back of the figure. They did that same, you know, metallic gunmetal wash on the back throughout there, which is a nice touch because, you know, usually we don't get paint on the back of figures, but Hasbro went ahead and did that for the back of this armor to actually make it realistic and accurate to what he had. You got some yellow for the strap that wraps around the back there. You got some other straps there. We got this nice buckle, and you got the silver for that metal on this belt thing here. But the sculpt looks really good. You get added sculpt texturing right inside there. You could see it a little bit the way the light's shining off of it. So that looks really good. Again, I like how they paid, attention to the detail, and that the vest doesn't go all the way down to the waist. And then you have the shirt that's tucked in, that's still sculpted there, and still the same blue shirt. So I like that they did that. It's really good. Now the pants are done just in this tan plastic color, and then the little bit of fatigues are kind of painted green throughout, and it doesn't look bad. They're done nice. It doesn't look too sloppy. On some of these creases, though, it gets a little wonky. You know, I think they had a hard time kind of applying it, or maybe that's how it's supposed to look throughout. Those ugly knee hinges, jeez. So there's a couple of different colors. You get a little bit of the green, and then there's also a brown color as well throughout. So I see. So it's not splotchy paint. It's actually just different colors, part of the fatigues, the camouflage that they put in there. That's why I'm seeing a little bit of different colors in there. That looks good. And then he just has black boots. Now this piece here is a floating piece that's on his leg. It cannot be removed unless you pop the leg. Kind of do that. It looks like he's got some extra clips of ammo. A little bit of green paint on there. Not exactly sure what those are. But that's the only paint throughout here. Otherwise it's just done in a black rubbery plastic. Now, I forgot to mention this. He has a watch. This is the same watch that we've seen with the Luke Cage figures. It's just this one's just all black. There's no paint to it whatsoever. Now, you can see here that the figure does not have that belt on because it popped off, and I hate putting it back on. But let me show you what I was talking about earlier. So there's some good detail into it. Like we got the silver buckle that's painted nicely. The grenades are painted green, so at least they're not the same color like we've seen with some other figures in the past. You have a pistol here, but that is sculpted into the holster. That's not going to be removable at all. It's sculpted nicely, but we're not going to get a whole lot out of it. Let me get that because that dark color in the background. Here there's also a sculpted knife, but you can see that the handle to the knife is very warped because it's extremely thin. You can see how thin that is, so it just kind of goes there. And so as I try and put this little notch into this porthole there, it doesn't want to stay on because it fits just enough on the figure, so you don't get a lot of wiggle room. So as you do it, it doesn't want to go in on this side, so you kind of have to do it, and it kind of pops off. And then on the inside, the way you could see it, that porthole comes out, so it doesn't just cleanly go through and lock into place like it should. So that's making it a little bit difficult. Like here, if I just do it and it's nice and even and flush, I could do it and it'll want to stay. But when it's on the figure, it's tough. We get some pouches and then some additional ammo clips there, some large ones for his rifle, and then smaller ones for the pistol, the handgun. So it does look good. Let's get it back on here. It's pretty thin over here too. So not only that knife handle thin, but it's kind of thin, and I'm scared like if I try and force it over here too much, like what it might do. See, so I kind of have to force it, and then you can see the curvature of his back is causing that knife handle to bow out like that. So if I get it in place, I can leave it, and then it looks good. But you start to move it around, then it'll probably end up popping off. Now let's take a look at the mask. Now this is one of the biggest highlights to the figure, is because he gets the mask, and it's not a Wakandan mask, but he was filling it, right? So he wears that as they go to get Claw out from where Ross and T'Challa are holding him. So this is the mask that he's wearing, and it looks pretty good. You get this grayish green color. And I'm not sure, it almost reminds me of how like Drax is supposed to have gray skin, but it looks a little green. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from this. And then you actually get like this faded red color in there. It almost reminds me of the Drax scars too. But the mask looks good. The sculpted texture and detail on it looks very good. The paint that is applied is very good. There's this yellowish green that's throughout over this greenish bluish gray that makes it look for the fur, and it actually looks really good in hand. And then you have these nice sculpted horns that came out looking really good, and there's like a brown wash over these horns, and it ends up looking really good. Now the weird thing about this mask, it just kind of slips onto his face the way it works. It just holds in place there, which is definitely different. But I'm glad it does it, because usually when you have something that goes completely over their head, what ends up happening is the head ends up being too small, or the helmet or mask ends up being too large. So the way this works is you actually just push it onto his face, and it fits right along his head. So it's really made to fit his head just right. You can see there it fits in just the right amount for this figure, and it looks really good right out of the movie. I really like the way that looks. And just for the fun of it, let's see if we can get this mask on AO. Now see, you have to have, well, I mean it'll sit there, but it's not really on there. Ooh, even that looks really good like that too. Let's see with the other Killmonger. Yeah, see, I guess it just depends on the shape of a head. Oh, except I lost it. It was on there for a second. So it just depends on the head sculpt. When I get the rest of the figures, I'll try it on Claw. I'll check it with the new T'Challa head sculpt that we're going to get and see, you know, kind of what other figures it might fit on. But yeah, just like that, I think it looks great. Okay, there we go. Solid Killmonger figure. This is the one that I've been waiting for the most excited for, most anticipated. I'm glad that Hasbro decided to make a Black Panther Wave 2. This is the first wave of Marvel Legends that is 100% movie figures. If you don't count that old Spider-Man, Sandman Build-A-Figure wave, which was the Tobey Maguire trilogy figures. That was a makeshift Marvel Legends wave of figures that were previously released. And I think that was, you know, Hasbro, when they took over the license, those were actually Toy Biz figures that Hasbro released in a wave. So if you don't count that one, this is the first Marvel Legends wave that is comprised of all movie figures. And as an MCU collector, I am very happy to have a wave like this. And then it's some new added figures that we definitely needed, like M'Baku, Killmonger in the tactical gear, Claw figure. T'Chaka is an awesome looking figure. The Dora Milaje is a nice upgrade. The other Black Panthers aren't necessary, but the Vibranium Energy I think is going to look really cool. We'll see tomorrow when I get the figure. And then we get that new unmasked T'Challa head for the Civil War body, which is kind of weird that we would get that figure released again. Although for me it actually works well, because he does wear that suit in the Black Panther movie. So I will actually have him there without the helmet, because he was in the film that way, so he'll be on my shelf. Anytime there's a figure and it can go between movies, I'll end up getting doubles or triples to kind of fit my shelf and how I display it all. But that's just me. But here is the Killmonger figure. One last look at it. What an awesome looking figure. Very, very happy to have it. Hasbro delivered on my expectations of it. So extremely happy. If you guys have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up if you guys like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching. Last look at Killmonger. Looks great.